Nagabenta ki khubor ba man kasngi pet but subscribe ya u an Kuble ye phi baro kinigilong ki khubor bam da kasngi Kakinhun Menteri MDA kalalum ka jingyalang Menteri men ha kasantrik unai wing has kretrian Ya kate ka jingyalang la penya du Menteri rangba ka jilla ukonrat ki sangma da ka video conferencing natura Ha ka jingyalang kinhun Menteri uba apo lingdo Menteri bat unong aiktien jong ka Sorkar MDA uba apo lingdo Hagasni thodi ng ula pentip bakala menjuri ka science laboratory kabala ban Wanrah iki kam runar bathamai bar kinong tray bathamai hakaleng ki district ban penklan ya ka jinglap ya ki kam ki jingpen bha ki brang shan ki kuntup ya ki jingkiu jong ka lab sha ka jingpen bha ba ki jingpen bha ki brang yai beteng ha ki mar po kendo ka jing hikai ba ki tiar Katu kat ne ki kies ki bajeliu ki la bandan kam ban bishar nya nabar ban penpau ya ke jingkular jong ka Sorkar ban penbha ya ke jing kershan lupa na ke benta ki bor penjari an hakeleng ke jela ka kinun menteri ke jela Meghalaya kala menjuri ke jing penkala ki anchna yeng kerpang na ke benta ki jaka kharkhana hapo ki jaka balabu kerpang hakeleng ke jela Unong aiktien ke MDA2 bat umentri ke kinhun menteri uba Paul Lingdo ula ong baki 100 balapan kala thamai kilong ban weng ye ki jingdon kam banang roi jong ke jingpen he ye ki sar khamtam ha ki jaka kum kaniu shillong kabadon kam ye ke jingpen khre sor ka rinti ka start ki kendon thamai ki Wanrah ye ke jingpen ya benta kabala bu rinti na kamta ki jaka kharkhana kaba batai bnya ye ki jingdon kam kum ka floor area ratio FAR bar ki jingthau jong ka jingpen kala na ka benta ki jingtei bapher
But as of date, certain categories of buildings have not been duly notified, and therefore there is a need to regulate such buildings. There is a need to categorize them, to define the FAR of each of the categories, setbacks, all of those issues. Hence, there's a need to regulate such buildings, and therefore, the cabinet decided that in view of the growing urbanization and the emergence of new urban centers, so within these industrial zones and estates, the categorization of these buildings and their applicability of the bylaws will be extended to those industrial zones.
So if you can tell us what type of buildings?
Buildings are all for as I said, the industrial estates, industrial zones. It's wherever such activities are taking place. So right now, New Shillong is the immediate point of attention, but it will be across the state wherever such industrial estates are being created. What is happening is that in areas like Mau Khanu, areas like Mau Kasiang, we will have these industrial zones within areas already acquired by government of Meghalaya. Cyril is here. He is in the law department.
State of Meghalaya, right? It's not for a particular state. Of course, the ZSWO is for Tura, but there's no relation with election. The person doesn't have any work with election, and the post cannot be kept vacant. It has to be, approved by the cabinet, and then subsequently orders will be issued for appointment. So appointment order is not yet issued. If requirement, we will check with the CEO's office if that requirement is there, as you pointed out, right? And BK Lingwa's issue is not an issue. He's for the state of Meghalaya. These are all statutory requirements which have to be fulfilled, in fact. So that appointment of Mr. BK Lingwa as chairperson of RERA there should not be any issue.
What about the forensic?
Ongoing thing. So forensic, in fact, is like this. As you are aware, from 1st July of this year, we have the new Criminal Procedure Code, the BNSS of 2023. As per that act, there is a requirement under section 176(3) of the BNSS that for certain heinous crimes, mobile forensic investigators should go to the crime scene to collect forensic evidence. This is the requirement of the law. So to keep the requirement of the law, the government has sanctioned these posts much earlier. Recruitment process has started. And in fact, there was a requirement that the service rules have to be updated because there's a new division in the Forensic Science Directorate called Mobile Forensic Crime Scene Unit, which will manage this collection of forensic evidence at the ground level wherever the crime happens. So these posts are created for all districts. So this is the requirement of the law, and hence the cabinet has approved the amendment to the service rules to include these new posts that have been created to the schedule of the mobile forensic crime, the mobile forensics, Meghalaya Forensic Service rules.
Well, how many? That shows that our crimes.
That's not the point. Like I said, the law has come into force from 1st July, the new Criminal Procedure Code, which is now called the BNSS. You are all aware. Cabinet had approved this, and from 1st July onwards, the BNSS has come to force. The BNSS stands for the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita of 2023. Now, as per 176.3 of the BNSS, this section provides that for every type of crime as defined in the section, the procedure of investigation is such that the mobile forensic crime scene unit officers have to go to the crime scene to collect evidence, so that in the court of law tomorrow the prosecution's case is much more strengthened because you're collecting evidence at the crime scene. Now the government has already sanctioned the creation of these posts, in fact in the month of July itself, and in fact the recruitment process has already been notified to the MPSC. Now there's a requirement to update the service rules because this new crime scene unit has now been created. So we need to add it to the Meghalaya Forensic Science Laboratory Service Rules of 2021. So this was an amendment that we brought to the service rules today, so as to incorporate this new unit called the Mobile Forensic Crime Scene Unit in accordance with the BNSS law and keeping ourselves up to date. So in fact, the government in the Home Police Department is up to date so that these officers are recruited at the earliest, and the forensic evidence as per the BNSS is collected as per the due process of law.
There has
Yeah,
been
it's-
this.
yeah.
So there has been this concern.
To that question, the government has been taking steps over the past few years to ensure that the forensic science lab is fully up to date. For example, in June of last year, the government had upgraded the forensic science lab to a full-fledged directorate. I think some of you are aware. So we created a directorate under the Home Police Department. Earlier, it functioned under the DGP office. With that, today we have said that these posts have already been created as per the law. And definitely, mobile vans also are being procured, and some have already been procured. So this upgradation that you mentioned is a continuous process. There are many divisions in the forensic science, lab in Shillong, and as and when the requirement of law is there, the recruitment will happen, the officers will be upgraded, their skills will be upgraded, and also obviously equipment will be procured from time to time. So although this is not related to today's cabinet agenda, since you asked this question, this is an ongoing process, and you can see from the steps taken by the government in the Home Police Department, these steps are ongoing and the process is ongoing, and upgradation is a continuous process.
DNA is
To check, I don't have the full facts with me today as to what is the delay and if there's a delay, because we have a DNA unit also in the forensic science laboratory in Shillong. And if certain samples are sent outside, that might be the requirement of the law, right? It's not like the samples are always investigated here. For certain types of cases, samples are also sent to get further expert opinion, because obviously, as you understand, forensics is to build expert evidence so that the case is well prosecuted in the court of law. So those aspects we will examine and we will see, but I don't have the full facts as to this issue of delay, from where you are getting this fact that there's a delay.
police are saying.
So we will examine it.
Yeah, there's always room. Okay.
Besides
Thank you.
cabinet.
Of the chairperson for Real Estate Regulatory Authority. Uh, the crux of this matter is that mm, we now needed a new chairperson to head this regulatory authority. It was proposed that the name of Sri B.K. Lingwa, IFS retired and former PCCF government of Meghalaya, be considered, and his name was approved at today's meeting of the cabinet. Yeah. Finally, there was a proposal from the CNRD department for the constitution of the Meghalaya Rural Development Services Recruitment Board, which would help the uh, activities of the CNRD, where officers are proposed to be recruited through an expert committee or board. The members of the service being postgraduates and postgraduate diploma holders from reputed institutes, and they will be selected through a rigorous examination process and posted at the blocks as junior rural development officers. We have indicated that there would be GRDO at the entry level. The number would be 59, and the number of posts required to be updated have also been indicated and approved. Now, the crux of this proposal is that since these junior rural development officers, there is a paucity of officers at the ground level, and going through the MPSC would delay the process of selection of such officers. So the need to have and to constitute the Meghalaya Rural Development Services Recruitment Board was felt, and this was put up before the cabinet, and it was approved today. Crime scene unit, and cabinet agreed to the creation of more posts in these mobile forensic crime scene units, which will facilitate crime detection uh, through mobile units, meaning officers will be equipped with cars, vehicles, which will facilitate uh, a faster detection of crimes. And we also agreed to the proposal to have scientific officers, senior scientific assistants, and laboratory assistants across all districts. This was necessitated in view of the fact that crime scene detection was not